Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach preseason discussions, and it's going to be the second part of the 2RF discussion. It's been a little bit since my last video. I was going to do them a little bit quicker, but I got caught up with some other stuff and didn't get a chance. But we're going to be back with the meat and potatoes of the 2RF to start the year for most people this time around. Also, a quick note, I saw a comment by McCarthy on my last video. I was talking about the prices, and I never really thought about the prices before, but the fact that some players finish the season a lot lower than they're starting this season, and he explained it very well. It's just the fact that it's not based off where they finish the year, it's based off their overall average. So they just get the average for the season, and they're based off that, which makes a lot of sense. I was thinking about it when I saw the comment that would it be better if it was based on where they finished the season? So you would get some, I don't know, you would get some potential real fucking bargain players, or I guess some really expensive players as well. I don't know. It's probably better this way, I guess, but let's go down. I think we're pretty much up to the mid-range players. Yeah, we just finished, I think, Dylan Lucas. I said I'd talk about him in the 2RF. I mean, I'll talk about him briefly. I just don't think he's going to get a spot in the second row, but we'll know closer to the time if he is. Obviously, they've signed Kai Pierce-Paul from England. Tyson Frizzell will lock up one spot, which could be on the left-hand side, so he actually could be a decent pod pickup if he lines up on the left. I mean, I don't know. Frizzell has always been thereabouts. Where was Frizzell, actually? What price is he at? He's 580k. I mean, Frizzell's always been pretty okay. I actually think the last couple of years he's been a lot better than he has. At the Dragons, I still remember at the Dragons, he would have legit games where he would run like 2 or 3 times on an edge. It was crazy. But I feel like since going to the Knights, he's been a lot better. He started out with an injury, played 50 minutes. What did he do there? Did he get a head knock or something maybe? Then didn't play round 3. 85, 52, 73, 78. Yeah, he went on a bit of a tear. He obviously missed a few games through Origin. Was he back in the side? And then, yeah, a couple of big 8. I mean, honestly, he showed last year he does have a bit of a ceiling. Not to some of the other guys, but if he's on the left-hand side outside Kalen Ponga, you could do wrong. Or you could do worse. You could absolutely do worse. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on. But let's go down. So who we got? Jordan Ricky, not interested. Ricky, I mean Ricky looks like he would be such a potential Supercoach gun. He's got decent base stats, and obviously he's fucking athletic as they come. He's got the attack in him, but for whatever reason, I don't know. The Broncos back rowers, basically, for a long time now, have never really been Supercoach relevant. I think a big part of that is just the Broncos use their outside backs a lot better than other teams. Like they love throwing it out wide. You know, Reece Walsh round the back, and they're just getting it out to their centers and wingers more than other teams do. They don't. I mean, they still hit the lead runner a lot, but for whatever reason, not as prodigious, I would say. So Ricky, I mean, I don't know. He got one of these years. I wouldn't be shocked to see him become not an elite, but up about to that 500, 600k mark. Well, he's 500k now, but yeah, up around 600k and be more consistent. But it is what it is. Corey Waddell, no, he's back at Manly. I mean, if he somehow got 80 minutes, but that's definitely not going to happen. Murata Niokore, was he dual last year? I think he was dual, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, he showed last year he was a bit of a plotter. Didn't play the minutes he was expected, and I don't see that changing too much. Kenny Roberts, Dan Russell. He is a 2RF centre wing. he might get that. He might get a starting second row spot again this year. Well, I mean, honestly, if he does, like, I would not be picking him up in the 2RF, but if he did get that starting second row spot again, he wouldn't be a bad one to pick up in the center wing. Like, he would just be a really solid 50-point plus potentially guy, 50-55 maybe. Nothing crazy, so I don't know. It's sort of the days gone of that though. Like, I know we don't have many guys like this anymore. Like, obviously we talk about Lucas a little bit, but we don't have those center wing 2RF guys that you put there and you're happy to get 60, right? You're happy to get 55, 60 points, just lock them in for a decent price. But now, like, the center wings are like such a huge potential, and there's guys that average 60, 70. Like, so I don't know. Putting a plotter in the center wing probably isn't the way Supercoach is anymore. So I don't know. You probably wouldn't actually want to do that. I think there's just cheaper options you could get with upside, and then the guns are just more consistent anyway. Helam Lukey. So fuck. I have good and somewhat bad memories of Lukey. I remember when I fucking bought him in. I bought him in when nobody else... It was like the week before people started talking about him, and he got fucking 120. I mean, I'll go back to it, because he also killed me a little bit, but I brought him in for his big 120. Where was his... I think it was after this Roosters game. He was at like a low price. I think I was just getting another number for a buy or a lead up to a buy, I think. We bought him in for St. George, and also he had the Tigers next up. He got 120, fucking went off in 60 minutes, mind you. 60 minutes. He was unbelievable. Then the next week he got 23 against the Tigers, which fucking, oh my God. I think that was the game the Cowboys got fucking pumped by like 60 plus. Oh, just crazy. A crazy game. And then he backed it up with an 87 against Parramatta in 71 minutes. So it was an up and down little roller coaster with Helam Lukey. It still worked out pretty well, but it was a bit of a wasted trade, I guess, looking back on it. But, I mean, the problem is, like, Nanai is going to get one spot, and then you've got Luciane and the young guy, Fini Fuyaki, who also came on, like, when there was injuries. He looked really good. I think Fini Fuyaki could definitely transition to more middle, but Luciane and then Helam, like, I couldn't go there. Like, he's got so much potential. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If he does somehow get the starting spot, he would be a super pod, and he's got the ceiling. I think last year, coming off injuries, like, you could tell, like, the minutes, he was definitely feeling it. Like, he looked gassed in, like, after a brief stint out there. Some games he obviously played a few more minutes, but he still looked gassed every game. So he'll be better for the run. He's stringing a few games together in the back end there. So he's got potential, man. Oh, he's got potential. You just have to... You just got to take the risk with a Helam Lukey. Just hope that he is in form and injury free that year. But we'll see what the Cowboys sort of. It will be interesting to see what they line up with, because they've got so many, like, back row and, like, potential forward options, like young guys coming through. Like, they're pretty stacked. So I don't know. Interesting watch there. Viliami Kikau. I'm pretty high on Kikau. Like, I mean, are the Dogs gonna be that much better? I mean, I think they will be. Like, they can't be worse, right? Kikau missed a lot of footy. And even, I mean, the footy he played obviously wasn't great. Like, he played 72 minutes for 32, 77 for 36. He got 68 against the Tigers and 80, and then 34 against the Warriors. So he wasn't lighting it up, that's for sure. and then he missed a bunch of footy with that pec injury. Or was it bicep? No, I think it was a pec tear. And then he came back 62 minutes, 57 points. Then the bye. Then 33, 52, 28, 73 he finished on. So, I mean, like a lot of these guys, I mean, some less so, but he is very reliant on attacking stats. I just feel like he's the big signing purchase. You know, he would have been disappointed with their the dog season. He would have been disappointed with his own output. Obviously, injury affected, but even the games he played, he wasn't quite with it, I would say. And then the Bulldogs didn't use him that well either. So I can see a big bounce back. Now, is he going to get back to like a 60 average, 60, 65 average like at Penrith? Probably not, but I mean, he's too good to not score tries and cause havoc. So I think he's not a lock in the team, but I would be. I think it's going to be a good bounce back for Kikau. Beau Fermor, 467. Now, he didn't play at all last year, did he? He obviously had a stellar 2022. Like, he was incredible. He didn't play a single game. Let's have a look at 2022. I think he averaged like 65, didn't he? It was damn good, whatever it was. Yeah, he killed it. 65.4. Like, he had a few lower games now and again. How were the minutes? The minutes were pretty much 80 across the park. Like, 37 against the Bronx, 39 against Manly, 36 the first game of the year, which is fine. But then he fucking finished, Jesus Christ, 74, 61, 93, 105, 84, 107. Like, he really, like, and he could have had so much more. I remember this season because he had so many drop balls. Like, his hands let him down so many times where he could have had another line break or a try. He could have had so many more points this season. But, Fermor, I know a lot of people are gonna jump on Fermor. I do like it, but I don't know. Honestly, I mean, 2022 was so good, but he missed a whole season. Like, not that the game's changed, but I think the Titans are using Fafita better now. I mean, again, it'll be interesting if he's on the left-hand side. Which side will he play on? I don't know. The right hand, left hand. You would think he would go on the right and leave Fafita on the left-hand side where he was dominant, but it does make a difference for sure. Like, the left-hand side is the better edge to be on for the Titans. But I don't mind it. But I think Fermor is a guy potentially just to have a watch and see. Although the Gold Coast, I think the Gold Coast do have a pretty good draw to start the season. And I guess if you're not going for Feeder to start, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have some, like, Titans player there to get up in. Because, they have, Tigers, Dragons, Melbourne, Cowboys, and then the bye, and then Dragons again, Broncos, Dolphins, Manly. It's a pretty damn good start. That's 2023. God damn it. Actually, 2024. 2024 is even better. Dragons, Bulldogs, Dolphins, Cowboys, Canberra, Manly, New Zealand, Melbourne, Cowboys, Newcastle. When's their first bye? Wait, when is it? Oh, I thought there'd be a bye set, but no, round 2. Okay, so that makes things a little bit annoying, having a bye in round 2, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We should have enough depth to cover one player. But I do like Fermor. I know he's going to be very popular, though. I mean, there's so many options. Like this, I'm still undecided. Like, do you go with, like, one premium guy and then a bunch of mid-rangers and maybe a cheapie? Or do you just go pretty much all mid-rangers? Like, it's an interesting one to consider. Now, I don't usually put too much focus on pods to start the year. Like, if it's a guy I'm tossing up between and it's a potential pod, then I'll go for it. But usually I don't really care too much, especially to start the year. Like, you just want to start off solid and work your way into it. But honestly, with the amount of second row options that are great value and high ceiling guys, like, it probably will come down to, like, who was a pod. Like, if you had the choice, like, Fermor v Kikau, I don't know. Fermor's probably a bit more solid, I guess, but Kikau, I mean, Fermor showed a couple of years ago he does have the ceiling, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Then we move on to Jai Arrow. He was also pretty good value. Like, it seems like he's got the second row spot over... Well, not over anyone. Like, I know a lot of people are thinking Tellers Duncan might get the second row spot with Keon Kalamatangi, but seems like Jai Arrow will get the spot and then probably move into the middle at points. Like, it sounds like him and Murray might potentially, like, switch throughout the game when someone needs a bit of a spell. So, if that was the case, although I guess if Duncan's on the bench... Yeah, it's probably more like, I think they were talking about Murray's going to play more minutes. So the way it might work is Arrow will have a spell, Duncan will go on through the middle, and then Cameron Murray will go on to the edge, potentially. Obviously, it factors in like who's doing the work and if someone's actually fatigued, if Murray needs an actual spell. But if that's the case, Cameron Murray, I mean, I know we went through the premiums, but Cameron Murray at... where was Murray? Like 640. I gotta be honest, I'm very tempted to start with Cameron Murray as the one premium option, just because he starts the year better than most for sure. So I don't mind that. Jai Arrow, yeah, I think his minutes are gonna be probably the one to get cut from those, because Tellers Duncan for sure is gonna get decent minutes, you would think. Sia Wong at 460k. Now, you know what? We'll find the other Roosters players while we're here, because it's there's a lot of moving parts here. So you got Satili Tupanua at 400k, Angus Crichton at 410, and Sia Wong at 460. Now, we don't know, because fuck knows what Trent Robinson is thinking, because Trent Robinson, like, obviously he really likes Egan Butcher. Like, I feel like most people looking at sort of like Egan Butcher is like not that good, and if anything should be a middle forward, but Trent Robinson really liked playing Egan Butcher on the edge, but surely like him and Nat Butcher were on the edge for a good chunk, just because you know, the issues with Tupanua and Crichton, and Sia Wong was obviously a youngster coming through. But surely this year there are 2 edge spots open. Now, I'm thinking Sia Wong gets one of those edge spots, because he's the future at that club. Like, he's got a lot of raps. Like, and he played some very good footy when he got his crack at the end of last year. Unfortunately, he sort of ballooned up to 460k with a couple of big scores. Because we look, like, he played 26 minutes. He played 16 minutes for 50 points. Then he played 15. 80 minutes, he got 58. Then 46 minutes. 51 minutes for 76. 80 minutes for 54. And then 54 for 49. So I guess he didn't get like an extended period of a locked-in edge spot. But I would think he gets one edge spot. And then it's probably out of Crichton and Tupanua. I mean, again, maybe he does stick with Egan Butcher on one edge. I mean, surely Nat Butcher goes back to the bench and goes through the middle rotation. But, again, who knows? Like, I don't know. At the moment, I know I do have... like, my thought is that Angus Crichton and Sia Wong are going to be the edge starters. I've got Angus Crichton at the moment because he's 50k cheaper. I don't know. It's a tough one. I think at the very least we're going to get one of these very good value guys. Probably out of the 3, I think Tupanua is probably most likely to stay as like a middle forward rotation guy. Even though, again, I feel like Tupanua is much better on the edge than through the middle, but they've got too many fucking edge forwards. So I think they're trying to work him into that impact middle forward, and I think he'll probably stay there. And I think Angus Crichton and Sia Wong start, and Egan Butcher, in this case scenario, probably gets dropped. But I don't know. Trent Robinson really likes Egan Butcher, so I don't know. But I think either of these guys, Angus Crichton or Sia Wong, are very good value. And whoever gets... I guess the question is, if they both get the edge starting spot, do you go with both of them? Probably not. Like, I wouldn't want to. Again, it'll come down to potential pods, but I'd probably just want to go with one. And I think Sia Wong is probably the guy I would lean towards if he has got that edge spot. But it's definitely one to watch in trials to see what it looks like in terms of minutes. It's not going to give us a clear indication, but hopefully we get some sort of confirmation of like how the minutes are going to shape up. But yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one with so many potential guns in that second row spot for the Roosters. But it's a wait and see. Josh Schuster, so 460k. It's a shame he's not dual 2RF 5'8", because I gotta be honest, if he was dual and he did get that edge spot, I would probably lock him in at 5'8" again. Like, I know it's risky, but I think he can do some good stuff at second row. Like, obviously he needs to work on his fitness, and hopefully he's done that, but he's got the ceiling. Like, he does have the ceiling, especially playing in the forwards. I think it works better for him, and I don't know. Again, there's probably better options, but Schuster, he could go on a run. Like, if he buckles down and gets his fitness up, like, he could be a sneaky pod to start the year. But I don't know. It's pretty risky. Sean Lane, 446. I mean, everybody's going to own Sean Lane. There's not really too much to be said about him. Like, I don't think he's going to hit the heights he did a couple of years ago, but he's going to be much better. Like, Dylan Brown and him are going to be back in the team. It's going to be a dominant edge once again. He's got good base stats. He's got the attacking upside. So Sean Lane, I mean, if you're not going to start with Lane, you're probably a little bit behind the 8 ball, if we're being honest. I don't generally like to think that a player should be owned by everybody, but as far as the potential second row forwards, it doesn't get much better than Sean Lane at 450k. It's a very good value. Sean Bloor, also 445k. Now, it is another wait and see. Like, Bellamy could potentially start Trent Liero once again in the second row forward, but surely he doesn't. Like, Liero was fine, but at best he was fine. Like, he just did not seem like a natural second row forward. Sean Bloor is, and he's got a lot of talent. So, am I going to start Bloor? I don't know. I'm starting to look now, and I think there probably are some better options than Bloor to start the season, just because potential minutes are an issue with Bloor, because I wouldn't be shocked to see if him and Liero sort of split minutes at certain points. So I wouldn't mind maybe waiting and seeing how Sean Bloor goes in that Melbourne side, because as much as you like to think, like Ali Katoa from last year, Sean Bloor is not Ali Katoa. Like, Ali Katoa is an absolute freak. Sean Bloor, he's got a lot of talent and he's got potential, but Ali Katoa was like, he was always going to be something very, very good. So I think Bloor is a wait and see to start the year. But again, you could take a pod on him. Although he might not even be a pod. Like, I think a lot of people are going to get wrapped up in the fact that, this good young kid has gone to the Storm system and see what they can do. But I don't know. He's going to be outside Cameron Munster, who, again, I mean, Munster isn't great at hitting his back rowers. Like, he's not the best at hitting the edges. Whereas Jerome Hughes on the other side fucking links up with Ali Katoa so well. So I think that's a factor at the same time. Tamalolo, we talked about in the front row forwards. Won't talk about him in 2RF. Finucane, Jack Williams, no. So Brendan Piacora. So he is, he's 70k less than Ricky. Now again, I've seen a lot of people really high on Piacora, and I do agree. I'm pretty high on Piacora as well, but I do sort of look at Ricky, and I'm like, Ricky is 500k, and he's been in the Broncos system for a number of years now. Arguably last year was his best season by a country mile. Like, I was always pretty indifferent to not Brendan, Jordan Ricky. I always was like a little bit, is he that good? I was a little bit hesitant to say he was any good, but last year I thought he was pretty sensational. Defensively, he was much better. He was dangerous with ball in hand, but he still only got to 500k with no like massive scores. Piakora he probably is a more damaging runner. Like, he's got some incredible footwork. Like, some of his limited game time last year, just the footwork at the line is unbelievable. But is he really going to average that much more than like a Capel from years and even Ricky? Like, I'm starting to look at Piakora and I'm like, he might make 70k, but is he really going to be that much more? Maybe. I'm sort of starting to fade Piakora a little bit, but I could be swayed. I could be swayed when I'm looking at the team once again. Calvin Hessno, Josh Curran. So for whatever reason, when I made my first team, I completely forgot about Curran. But I think Curran is, for me, another lock in the 2RF. I just think he should be starting lock. He's got great base stats. He's got an offload in him. He's got a bit of an attack. I guess if that was the thing, would I want to have Curran and Kickout in the same team? And potentially, like, there's a couple other doggies that I wouldn't hate. So that'll be another factor if I pick up, like, a Kickout compared to someone else, right? Like, you don't want to overflow your team with, especially bad team players. But Curran at 420k, like his minutes last year, like he just was. I don't really understand why the Warriors weren't. I mean, I know the Warriors had like a gun forward pack, but I don't know. I thought Curran was better than like some of the stuff they were doing. And I mean, look, 80 minutes, 76, 70 minutes, 49, 80 minutes, 62, 73 minutes, 75. And then that's pretty much all the minutes. 80 minutes, 80 points. Like 41 minutes, 59. Like, if he's playing decent minutes, he is a genuine keeper. So Josh Curran for me is a lock. I'd be shocked if he isn't playing decent minutes at the Dogs. I would be pretty shocked at that. Going down the list, nothing really stands out. Angus Crichton we talked about. Tupanua we talked about. Luke Garner, no. Connor Watson, I don't think I talked about him did I talk about him in the hooker discussion? You probably couldn't go there, but man, he showed like a couple of years ago, even playing not many minutes. Like, let's actually go have a quick deep dive at Connor Watson. So obviously last year he didn't play. Did he play any games? No, he was out the whole time. What do you do 2022? Because I remember like Connor Watson is a guy that even if he was playing like 30, 40 minutes, he could score 50 plus. Like, he's that good. 2022. So what did he do here? Like, he averaged 52, which is pretty okay. Again, he missed a decent chunk there. He was playing 65, 44, 56, 55, 52. So around that, he was playing around that high 50s. Scoring decent. Yeah, is he going to play that many again? Like, I don't know. Like, he was playing some decent minutes in 2022. 2021, he averaged 58.8. This is obviously at Newcastle. What were his minutes like there? Again, like 50s. He played 80 there, but more in the 50 mark. Couple of 80s. Like, he's got the upside. You probably couldn't. If we're being honest. But, if anything happened to Brandon Smith, or even Victor Radley, I guess, Connor Watson is definitely got to keep an eye on to see potentially the minutes. Like, I don't know. Maybe he does sort of split Connor Watson with 40 minutes and Brandon Smith 40 minutes. Like, I think Connor Watson is too good not to be playing 40 minutes at NRL level, but I guess it depends. And I think Brandon Smith playing 40 minutes would be much better as well. Just the impact off the bench would be huge for both those guys. So I think one to keep an eye on, honestly, at 3 374. You'd probably get him at dummy. You'd probably get him at dummy half, maybe. I don't know. There's probably better options though. Who else have we got? Aaron Clark. No, he's not going to get the minutes. Fatala Mariner. So it just got announced today. He's actually signed with the Dragons. Now, obviously, there was a bit of drama with Fatala Mariner. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, at the start of last year, he was named club captain. He was like, everyone seemed to love him. And then in the space of a year, everybody's just turned on Fatala Mariner. Like, apparently, like, not training well, like, not wanting to do the recovery, all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know the ins and outs, but yeah, it dropped off very quickly. Like, he seemed like a player everybody loved and wanted to get back on the paddock, and then just dropped away. What, I don't even know what he did last year, because he played a fair few games at the start. What was he playing? Like 62, 48, 50, 55. Then he got an injury, I guess, here. What was he scoring? 40, 50. Then he came back. He played 40s, 60 minutes for 68. Then he didn't play for a while. Then he played 15, 51. I don't know. It's so hard to judge, like, fucking... And even 2022, I feel like he had a very injury-affected season as well. Yeah, he missed fucking from round 1 to round 10. Then he played... Like, the minutes were just so up and down. Like, if he could get consistent minutes... And, I mean, the Dragons, like... Going to the Dragons, he does actually pose some value, because they probably, I don't know, maybe, where would he play? Yeah, I don't know. If he somehow got a start at the Dragons, maybe, but I probably wouldn't be resting on it. I don't know. One to keep an eye on, I guess, potentially, but I don't know. RFM just feels like I don't know. He's gone off the boil. I don't know what happened, but he's gone off the boil. Joe Fingawi, I think I talked about him in the front row forward. I'm definitely waning off him. Just the minutes just can't. I don't know. You just can't see the minutes happening. Who else we got? So Toby Couchman, another guy at the Dragons to keep an eye on. Obviously, he's a good young player, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it'll be interesting to see what Flanagan does, because like last year they were playing DeBellin so many minutes, and way more minutes than he probably should have. Like, I just feel like it was a detriment to the Dragons. So does Couchman get some more minutes off him? Maybe. He's probably not going to start, though, so 350k is a little bit pricey for a guy that's not starting. Morgan Smithies is a guy from England going to the Raiders, of course. They're just the English import team. I mean, from all reports, he's a hard-working middle forward, can go all day, doesn't have too much upside in him. I think he's a bit of a trap, just because Horsburgh's missing the first 3 games, 3 or 4. So, yeah, he might see increased minutes for those 3 or 4 games, but then Horsburgh's going to be back, and Smithies, you would expect, I don't know, go back to the bench if he even starts in the first place. So, I think even if Smithies starts, I think he's a potential trap going him. Kai Pearce-Paul, who we talked about briefly with the Frizzell chat. It seems like he did have an injury coming into it, but it seems like he's on track to play round 1, which would be great. Like, again, at 345k, if Kai Pearce-Paul is starting in the edge back row for the Knights, I mean, you could... It's a pretty surefire pickup, right? I haven't seen too much of him, but yeah, starting back rower, if he's playing 345, it's a pretty done deal. So, again, wait and see there. Liam Knight, we would have talked about him in the front row forward. I think Liam Knight actually... Yeah, that's right. Ryan Sutton, it came out a little bit ago that he had surgery. So he's going to miss like the opening 10 rounds, which opens up Liam Knight potentially even more. Or, you know, some other guys coming through could get some more minutes. Max King also in the front row forward. So the doggies, I want to keep an eye on there. Matt Croker, he's probably not going to get the minutes. God, he's such a good player though. So he's not going to get the minutes. That's the simple fact because of who their forwards are. But I do really like Matt Croker. He's got some really good impact when he's on. Just at the moment, not to be. Tellers Duncan, I think a lot of people are going to want to go him just in the chance that he starts in the back row, but it's not going to happen. He might get some good minutes through the middle, but at 320k, are you really going to pick up a guy that is coming off the bench? Probably not. It's just a little bit of a risk that he plods along, and he could have a decent score now and again, but then he could also play like 15 minutes and score 15 points, so... Yeah, I don't think you could start him if he's not going to be starting. Going down the list. Sami Solo, we would have talked about in the front row forwards. Kobe Hetherington at 300k. Kobe Hetherington. One to keep an eye on. Could he potentially... I know they've talked a little bit about maybe Carrigan going to starting prop, and if that happens, then Hetherington, you would assume, would come into the starting lock role, which, I mean, again, would be a slam dunk pickup. I don't think they should do that, though. I think Carrigan should stay at lock, and, I mean, even Hetherington could start in the prop spot. I mean, lock and prop are pretty similar, really. It's just the kickoffs. So, I don't think it changes too much, and, I don't know. People are keen on like Fletcher Baker, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Kobe Hetherington get a start. Maybe. Obviously, the news with TPJ maybe playing for the Bronx. I don't know. Even if that happens, I don't think he's going to be able to play for a few rounds anyway. So we'll see what happens. There's Finney Fuiaki for the Cows. A very good young player, but he's not going to get the minutes there. Ryan Couchman, well, similar to his brother. A good young player, but are the minutes there? Probably not. Ben Trbojevic, still second row center wing. I don't think there's a spot for him. Maybe on the bench, he'll pick up a spot again. Who else we got? Semi Fainu has gone to the Tigers. Now, this one's a very interesting watch. Like, I guess he won't get a start, right? Because they've got Isaiah Papali'i and Johnny Bateman there. So Fainu, the best he can hope for is a bench spot. So actually, yeah, probably not a good option. I thought originally, I'm like, oh, he could be locked in for some good minutes. But I mean, the Tigers pack is actually pretty good still. So I don't really see the minutes happening there for Fainu, unfortunately. Have we got any cheapies? I mean, fucking Joe Chan, good young player at the Storm. Jack Howarth. He's only 2RF. He's not center wing eligible this year. What the fuck? He's not. Why? I mean, he played like... I don't know. I thought he was always talked about more as center. I know he played a couple of games in the back row last year, but they've got rid of his duels, which is fucking annoying. But I don't know. Does he get a spot? I guess, with Sean Blore signing, he probably doesn't, unless Bellamy does eventually crack Howarth and then Blore comes from the bench as like a utility middle or edge forward, maybe. You never know. Who else have we got? Jesus, Brody Jones. Brody Jones at 240k. I feel like a couple of years ago, Brody Jones was like a pretty solid, like 400, 500k guy. Like, he obviously did nothing last year, just didn't get the minutes. And I mean, again, he didn't play many games either. And he's not going to get the minutes again this year, but he's fallen away. I thought he was pretty good. I think it was 2022, was it? He played, like 52 minutes, 80 minutes, 68, 60, 76. I mean, he's a bit ploddish. Yeah, not good. 74 minutes, 48. I mean, not the worst, but he's not going to get the minutes, obviously. Brody Jones. Sifakula for the Warriors, probably no minutes for him, you would expect. Riley Price from the Cowboys has gone to the Penrith Panthers. Again, probably no real minutes, but if he gets a bench spot, maybe. Jesse Calhoun is a very good young player at the Sharks, but again, just can't really see the minutes. Justin Matamua is a potential cheapie for the Tigers. Now, maybe, I know Fone Pole was playing at lock like last year, and he is a very good young player, Pole, but I feel like he is better just running, like without ball playing. Matamua is like a classical ball playing lock, so if Benji Marshall wants to add a bit of ball playing, a little bit of ball movement to this Tigers team, I mean, Justin Matamua, I think, should come in. And again, if he got a lock spot, obviously everyone's going to pick him up. So just one to keep an eye on. I guess the annoying thing is that he's on the bye in the first game, so you don't know if he's going to get a spot. I mean, we should theoretically know after the trials and with discussion if Matamua is likely to, but I mean, I don't know. As an outsider looking in, again, we're not head coaches. We don't know what goes on, but it seems like Matamua should come in and play that ball playing role. And Pole, you just want him running hard. Like, that's his asset. So one genuine cheapie to keep an eye on there. And then, I don't know, anyone else sort of jump out at us? I don't think so. Maverick Geyer has obviously been in the system for a long time. He's a couple of games he's played, he's looked really good, but yeah, again, probably just there's no minutes for him. And that's pretty much it. So I don't think you don't really need that many cheapies in the 2RF this year because there's so many good value guys. So obviously, I mean, Matamua is the one standout, like, actual cheapie. If he gets even if he gets a bench spot, would you go him? You probably would, right? You probably would. And then as far as the more mid-range guys go, I mean, Tellus Duncan, probably not going to get the minutes. Kai Pierce-Paul, not quite a cheapie, but also a very good value guy if he gets to start straight in. And then out of the genuine mid-ranges, or like the value picks, I'm leaning Angus Crichton or Sia Wong, either or there. Josh Curran is also definitely in. Brendan Bikora, maybe if I'm sort of needing another guy, I do like Picora, but again, I just can't see him being that much better than Ricky in terms of Supercoach scoring. But I don't know, maybe he bucks the trend and becomes like a 600k guy, maybe. I like Sean Bloor potentially. Sean Lane, obviously definite. Josh Schuster, I'd like as a potential pod if people are scared off him. If he is like a genuine super pod, man, I will be very tempted to pick him up and just see if he can't do something to start the year. Viliami Kickout also, I think, is not locked in, but I do really like him. Fermor also very good. Hilam Lukey, another guy to keep an eye on. Like, there's so many, dude. And then not even talking about the high range guys. Honestly, if I'm looking at the expensive guys, I'm not going to go for feeder. I think I'm locked in that I'm not going to go for feeder. Out of the rest of them, I think it's Cameron Murray by a mile, I think. Like, Ali Katoa I like as well, but the Storm have a really tough start to the year. And then everyone else is sort of good. Nikora, I think, is maybe a little overpriced potentially. Hopgood, I can't see the minutes continuing like last year. And then Tino, you'd obviously pick up in front row forward if you're going to go him. Ola Kawatu is bumped up by that fucking huge couple of scores in the last couple of weeks. And then, but yeah, Cameron Murray, I mean, just, he starts the year so well. So do you go Cameron Murray and then like 3 mid-ranges and then a cheapie? Couple of cheapies? I don't know. It's a tough one. I'll have to look how the team will shape up after I remake it. But yeah, at the moment, there's plenty of options. So I think it's an exciting year for second row forwards. Like, I think you're not going to do too much wrong either or. Like, as long as you're picking a guy that's starting. But there's so many good ones, you know, and you probably can't get them all because it's a little bit too much to spend, I would say. But I think don't be too worried about, you know, if you go someone and other people are going someone else. Like, I think all of them can do pretty well. I don't necessarily think it's going to make or break, depending, like, if you go Kickow or Curran or Fermor or fucking Seo Wong. I think potentially they can all be pretty similar. Like, it's just on their day. Someone will score 100, someone will score like a 50, and then it'll flip. So I wouldn't stress too much at the start of the year who goes like off in like the first 1 or 2 rounds. Like, you gotta hold firm on these guys for at least like a few rounds, unless it's like a massive standout, then yeah, try to get him in, but it'll probably all even up in the end, I would say, for a lot of them. So yeah, it's an interesting one, the second row forward. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the Supercoach content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.